Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw. Now that is beautiful. Okay, so you're standing, I'm assuming this is sunset,
Mm-hmm.
shooting into, okay, so the foreground is leaves that are quite, so I'm gonna say this is more northern states because the leaves have changed color quite a bit. You don't tend to see that kind of color change, but it's at a slightly high rolling hill, and below, far away, you can see a big valley with a few peaks, and the sky is pretty, and the colors are warm and amazing. And now that I kind of know a little bit about you, there's something bent going on here, but I can't figure out what it is. It's a beautiful beautiful sunset, but there's something afoot.
It's Mesa Verde in southwest Colorado.
Ah, okay.
Mesa Verde. So we are high. I mean, even though it's not northern, higher up
Mm,
latitude, it's, I'm trying to think, are they a mile high there? They're up a bit.
mm-hmm.
So they do get the color changes in the leaves. And uh, like I said, we like to travel. We do a lot of road travel because my husband and I, while we can fly, we don't like to fly. We like to
Okay.
take side roads, back roads, get off the beaten path and see stuff on our way to different book signings.
Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
so this was a trip up to Deadwood for a fall book signing we were doing. The kids were with me, with us, I should say. And we always try to incorporate something with the trips so the kids aren't bored stiff,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they still might be bored stiff, but hey, you get to see the cliff dwellings at Mesa Verde. It's really
Yeah.
awesome and learn about them. But we had to race to get to this point because the sun was setting and
Right.
it was really it was a rush to get there, and it was actually pretty cold. It
Mm-hmm.
looks warm, it looks so nice and sunny in fall, but it was really cold. And it's just, I included it because it's one of my favorite pictures, and it's fall and I love the fall, so not really anything dark or weird, just
No, no, but it's okay. So it's connected to Deadwood.
right.
Okay. So
Right.
why don't you explain a little bit of that as a motif, right?
So you mean Deadwood and
Yeah. Well,
the,
well, within.
so my parents divorced when I was really young, and my mom, when I was in junior high, moved to Deadwood, South Dakota.
Okay.
It's in the Black Hills, which are like foothills to the Rockies or other, mountains. Not quite what's up in Vancouver, but a good size. They're a mile high, some of the towns
Mm-hmm.
within. So I went with them for summer visits and whatnot and fell in love with this old West town and the history. And partly because I was bored stiff and I had to go into town with my mom while she worked, or I'd be stuck out in the boonies with nothing to do. So I like to just walk the town and go to the museum and learn everything I could about Deadwood. And I kind of fell in love with it way back when.
Are
Well,
you are you the only child?
no, actually, there's
There's
many.
17 of us.
I'm the fourth out of fifth for my mom, but
Okay.
fourth out of
Okay.
fourth for my dad because she
Because you, you
remarried.
you paint the picture. You're kind of like wandering the streets.
Well, I was alone because most of them are older, like way
Ah.
older. So I was kind of tagging along behind, and I just really enjoyed it. And I
Mm-hmm.
started writing, and it wasn't the first series that I wrote. I tried a series set in Mexico, which is called my Dig Site series, and then I dabbled with a series set in southeastern Arizona, which is my Jackrabbit Junction series. And then I realized I'm just going to write this story about this single mom because I had two kids by then, or no, I had one kid and was pregnant with my next, and the big gold mine had recently shut down and jobs were scarce.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, what would it be like to be a single mom here raising twins? And real estate is great because she can travel and see the haunted houses. Because anyone who's been to Deadwood or watched stuff about Deadwood is notoriously haunted
Is
everywhere.
this Deadwood the same Deadwood as the show Deadwood?
It is. It is. It's the
Okay, so
same.
full on, full on. So steeped in history. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. There's so much. And there's, you go into every, I swear to God, just about every other house or every building. And this is a haunted one. And I'm like, of course it is, and everybody has the story, which is so much fun if you're
Wow.
into that. So why not mix mystery, which, I had tried romance for a couple years because I read a lot of romance growing up and I loved it, but I just can't emote enough
Hmm.
to satisfy to satisfy the publishers. They were like, more emoting, please. I was like, she said she likes him. What more do you need? Come on.
No, I need more. I need more feeling. I'm just like, well,
What more? I mean, they slept together. That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
obvious.
yeah,
That so,
yeah.
and I love, not to diss romance. Those who do it well are incredible because I
Yeah.
can't do that. So I switched to mystery because I always liked a little bit of mystery. Now, not like Agatha Christie. I wasn't into the, Nancy Drew and that too much. I like more of a mystery blended in with a
Hmm.
story. So, and Deadwood has the history with the ghosts, and I love the supernatural. So I thought, let's just blend those all together, and with a lot of comedy, because the people from Deadwood that I've grown up, off and on over the years, and that I know so well now, are wonderful. They're so funny. They're down to earth, and the things they say, and I just love them. And so why not bring that to life?
Your friend knows what she's talking about in terms of how hard it is to write humor and write comedy, and there is something. It is just riffing, and it is, and in a way, it's probably like, well, I think it's funny, so I
Right.
imagine other people would think it's funny, but it's it's a theory of mind sort of thing. Like, I think this is something that you're going to laugh at, and it's something very strange if you think about it. Where let's say you have a video showing one of your readers sitting on a bed or on the sofa. It's quiet all around. Flip a page. The eyes are just tracking the words, and all of a sudden, for some reason, the words that you put together creates blows a fuse in their head, and they just are laughing.
Right.
It's a very funny. If anything, you're getting an emotion that is not from like a romance, but it's. I mean, you're getting a surge of emotion, so it's
Right.
not. Yeah, it's not obvious.
It's See, and if I think about it too much, I equate it to looking into the sun. Don't look into the sun. Just keep going. Keep your head down and keep doing what you do,
Hmm. Hmm.
and finding the humor. And I often look at it as I'm out there. Some people won't like the stories or my sense of humor. And
Mm.
that's cool. We have different sense, people have different tastes. But when I find people that do like it and have
Hmm.
fun and contact me or come to a signing, I love it because I have found people that share a sense of humor with me, and that's not always easy in this world.
Sure.
It's a way of, it's almost like you're looking at for friends, and you're kind of going through, no, 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 you're not going to work because you don't like how that I wrote that, or you had a problem
Right.
with this, but you loved it. Come on, let's go do something together. Let's talk.
When you said you have your little beta team of 10, 15 people, maybe, yeah, or was it more than that?
The first draft is 10 to 12. The beta is 30 to 50, depending on
Look,
what I
30 to
choose.
50, like
Yeah,
basically volunteers.
yeah, completely. They're awesome. And they'll drop,
Respect.
I'll say, I have it, you'll have it in a week, and I'll need it back within a week. And these aren't little books, and they have lives. They have jobs and family, and I always say, if you can't do this run, just let me know, and I won't.
Hmm.
I'll pull you for another one. And so they have the opportunity to go, no, it's not going to work with my schedule. But majority of the time, they do it. They all do it.
One of the sides of my brain is very much wrapped around entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
And like, what is it to be an entrepreneur? And really, to be an entrepreneur is not like Evil Knievel was kind of like an entrepreneur, but his brand was just him,
Yeah,
right?
right.
To use a very old example that nobody may get, but in your case, you've taken something which is writing, which is just for many people solitary, and you could be a completely antisocial human being and be an amazing author, maybe. But what's interesting is that you've got like teams of people that you're beta testing with. It's like, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
it's astounding.
I'm very fortunate. I mean, I feel very lucky. The first time I put out a beta call, it wasn't like my genius idea. There was another author years and years ago that she had done it, and she had like 200. And I went, wow, that's a lot of people. And I had
Hmm.
just a few books out. And so I thought, well, I'll put a beta call out on Facebook, see who else wants to do it. I got like 200 people.
Wow.
Holy cow. And I ran with 200 people, and that was hard work.
Isn't that a lot to go over?
Yes, because one of my things that I do, because you've given me your time
Yeah.
and helping me, is I'm going to respond to every single
Oh, dude,
email that
200
comes in.
times.
So that became something of a wow. But in addition, so once the book's released, then we form our promo team. And beta
Mm,
readers can also be on the promo team if they want to. But the promo team, then we take volunteers, and we have different names. Like for the Deadwood Undertaker series with my husband, we call them the Deadwood Prospectors.
hmm.
For the more current Deadwood Mystery, it's the Deadwood Deputies. For the Jackrabbit series, it's the Prickly Pear Posse.
I am shocked by how lazy you are in
What do
your
you mean?
process. Of course not, you weirdo.
I know.
Of course you're not lazy. Oh
Well,
my
I was thinking, well,
goodness.
they're helping me. Maybe I should be doing more to market. But
No, are you crazy? Oh my god! I'm like I'm humbled. Like that is amazing.
it's
What an
I'm
operation.
it's people, and I have help. My
Yeah,
sister-in-law is my assistant, and my husband is like just part of this whole thing too. I just tend to get out there more, but he does so many things behind the scenes. I Technology in me,
like cook.
I take and cook. I would take a bat to the computer if I had, was left alone, where he steps in and he can just do. He does the formatting. He does so many parts of it, the uploading, all that kind of stuff that I'm like, oh gosh, don't make me
Ah,
think about that.
respect, respect.
So I have like I said, my brother is my illustrator and cover artist, and then my husband takes his art, scans it, and then he's a graphic artist too. So it's a family thing, and my sister's a bookkeeper, and my sister also sells them out there at fairs. So we joke that when somebody new comes in the family, it's kind of like, oh, nice to meet you. What do you do? What are your
What's your?
skills?
Yeah, exactly.
How can you
It's an
help?
amazing empire.
But the promo team, those guys are again volunteers, and they don't get the book for free. They all go buy
Right.
it, and then they go and tell the world about it. Now, what we do, I have fun as I'm writing a book, going shopping to find themed things that go with the story.
Hmm.
And so whatever I find and buy, it matches the story in some way. And then we do a drawing at the end, and we usually give away about 80 to 100 prizes that
Wow.
So it's not a small thing. And sometimes the prizes are just like special, little keychains, and sometimes they're bigger things.
Yep.
Yeah, something that goes with the story. And then I write a thank you card to everyone. The beta team gets a thank you card that's different from the promo team, and they get thank you cards and
Wow.
magnets, special unique magnets, only they can only get, with certain things.
Right.
So I think in my time I've written over 5,000 thank you cards so far, and it kills my hand.
I have met a whole bunch of entrepreneurs, business leaders from huge organizations to very small startups to all kinds. And I really hope that when somebody listens to you talk, if there's a little switch or a little lever or a little something, but it's more like a fire in the belly that
Mm.
is in a way that you couldn't even put out if you tried, right? So why don't you talk about what is that thing inside you that drives you like this? Because it's fierce.
I think it's genetic. My mom was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
My father, they were divorced, but my dad was even more so, built a big business
Wow.
on, just totally on its own. And he didn't go to college even. He just knew what he needed to do, and he just kept building and has built this big thing. And he never stopped. It was always, if we used to joke that, and we still do, on your gravestone we'll put, here lies, dad, he never had time. And
Mm-hmm.
that sounds sad, but he did have time. But he worked Christmas morning,
Mm-hmm.
because why not? And so I grew up in this family, and my sisters and my brother, we all just, I joke that we work and we work, and then we're like that horse that's ridden till it keels over dead.
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
kind of the way we just
I
constantly
think
go.
that might be your epitaph. No, just joking, just joking.
I know. I try to be with my kids. I try to make time because, and for the first few years of writing, once I published, I didn't have a lot of time. I was working 2 jobs. I was working full time, and then I'd come home, take care of the babies with my husband, and then when they'd go to bed, I'd stay up till 2 writing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you see, that tenacity and that strength and that, I mean, it's so amazing. And then I really hope somebody who listens to this, kind of on the one hand, goes, okay, they kind of get an inspiration that no, it is doable. But then I also know that there are people out there who, however you guys are made, that's just the little squirrel that never stops running. Like, it's just constantly going, and that's not
I
an insult. That's a total compliment.
I think it's when you find, they always say your passion, but it's
Mm.
true when you find your passion, because I can tell you, I sat through many meetings with the company I worked for as a tech writer, where someone was passionate about, this or this part of the money and this part of what we were doing. And I would just be sitting there daydreaming, and I made notes. I was always scribbly, 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 because and I'd look around at my wonderful friends and think, how can you guys be so interested in this? I'm working on stories in my head and figuring out plot lines, but you guys are so in. And I'd walk out of a meeting and think, I'm going to have to study up on what we just talked about, because none of that sank in. It was,
And your supervisor comes to you and says, "You know what your problem is? You have no tenacity and you're no persistence.
I know.
You're a flake."
I'm a, I would try so hard to pay attention, and I couldn't hold on to it. But when I went to a writer's conference
Yeah,
and somebody talked about marketing, or somebody talked about something related to building a story, I soaked it in. I didn't even need to take
nice.
notes. It just soaked in. And so I realized I really need to get out of this tech writing job. And it helped me. It really taught me a lot about writing, being a tech writer.
For sure.
But I need to focus, because this is where I'm good. This is where I can remember things. So
Amazing.
I think that's the thing. When you find that, whatever it may be, it's a wonderful thing to be able to find, and then do it, do something with it.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.